1 second.
Hello, I'm Edie Elmquist, and welcome back to You've Been Schooled. Today I'm joined by
Linnea,
Marissa,
Jaden,
Sebastian.
first and last names.
friends. Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to You've Been Schooled. My name is Edie Elmquist, and today I'm joined by
Linnea Wong,
Marissa Goldfarb.
Jaden Leung,
Sebastian Greenstein.
Trip Panawazik.
Okay, and today we're going to be talking about the film Athlete A. So obviously the doctor here is definitely to blame, but who else do we think should take the blame for this entire sexual assault scandal?
honestly,
I think the system surrounding elite gymnastics is very much at blame because they protected him for decades, and there were so many opportunities to stop him from abusing these girls, but they were all ignored, and so many more girls were abused.
It also, it goes all the way back to when gymnasts started to get younger and younger, started at a younger age, when we talked back to the origins of the owners of USA Olympic, or USA Gymnastics. You go back to the beginning, and the ages got lower and lower, and that makes it more and more vulnerable for these athletes to be taken advantage of, not knowing what abuse is or what assault is at that time in their life. And I think it also shows that we need better education for people, even at young ages, to know what that is, so that it doesn't take that long to report it, or it doesn't take that long to have that realization such that he was caught. So yeah.
Yeah, I also, when they hired him, I believe he also, there were already accusations of it, so that should have been something that's taken into account, and that should be something that's looked at before hiring someone to do a job especially like that.
Yeah, I think there's blame at every level. I mean, starting with the parents, they didn't do anything bad per se, but it's just kind of the ignorance, not calling the police. I think that is a pattern that was seen, not calling the police, trying to handle it internally. I think that's the first mistake that was made. And also the head, Steve Penny, that guy I thought was a really sick dude as well, other than aside from the doctor. He was all for the money, keeping his reputation and everything.
I think adding on to the parent, putting the blame on the parents, I think they blindly sent their kids to the Karoli camp without any knowledge of what was there, and just blindly sending them.
Yeah, I thought the whole ranch thing was super messed
I mean,
up.
it's awfully reminiscent of other situations there.
I think it plays into the conversation where parents will do anything to have their kids be professional athletes or
And
whatever.
I think their child's success is a reflection of them as parents.
Yeah.
And I think they live for that.
But you have to put your kids' safety and health above their gymnastics.
selfish.
it kind of
I would
reminds me
also
of
I would argue that we should kind of change the word from blame to kind of mistake almost, because I wouldn't blame them for anything.
Yeah.
But I think that they are definitely at fault partially when you talk about them just having all this faith in these people that they were doing the investigation, even though it would hurt their own organization. So for me, I thought that they could have done it better, but I want to change the word from blame when we're talking about them, just personally.
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of this scandal that happened in the 2022 Beijing Olympics, where there's this Russian ice skater that tested positive for a banned drug, but then the federation just completely covered it up. It just said she accidentally took it, even though everyone knew it was intentional. And then when she failed in her routine, her coach didn't even ask her what was wrong. She just told her why do you mess up? She basically just scolded her on live television. And then one of the other competitors, also from Russia, she kind of crashed out on live TV. She said I hated this sport. I just hate everything about it.
Okay, so do you guys think that this is more a question for the boys? Do you guys think that this is more prevalent in girls' sports, or do you think that you've seen this more in men's sports?
That was just another situation I kind of tied this to after watching Athlete A, because
Sorry, can you say it again?
So obviously we see this a lot in women's sports, their coaches taking advantage of the girls. Do you think that this happens in men's sports, or do you think it's solely a women's sports issue?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. I haven't heard of anything like this happening in men's sports. I definitely think pressure on youth athletes definitely goes both ways. Where the coaches are harsh, elite travel youth sports can become a really stressful scene for both men and women. But I think specifically the sexual assault and these kinds of scandals, personally, I've only heard about it in women's sports.
I just think men are more into gambling for some reason. They're more into professional gambling. We saw the Malik Beasley case. We saw Chauncey Billups and all that. I think that's what really affects men, is like the gambling.
I also think it raises like a larger question, which is what happens when institutions put their image and value their image before human lives. And I think that's prevalent in both women's and men's sports.
I
Yep.
definitely agree with that.
Just to kind of answer E's question, I think that it's less of a matter of, I think that gender definitely plays a role into it, but I think it's more of a matter of the age of the athlete. Like you hear about this way less when you're talking about older athletes. But yeah.
And that's all that we have for today. Thank you for watching. You've been schooled.